Hey yo, it's your boy Los. Let's get it. All right, so as you can see, we are talking this started to be stormy, rainy Wednesday afternoon about false doctrine killers. Wrath of God, Volume 2, basically. Sorry. The Wrath to Come, Volume 2. You know, it's funny, right? I heard that this was, shout out to John, man. John is, and I don't mean it disrespectfully, he's just a loyal follower, and I mean that respectfully, just, a loyal fan of false doctrine. Pretty much anything false puts out, John's gonna peep it out and, be honest and enjoy it or whatnot. And so shout out to the homie, man. He I heard this was coming out, but I just wasn't paying much attention to it. Like, it's what it is. But John asked me, was I gonna review it? And in my head, I'm like, no. But, I was like, it's cool. I'll go ahead and check it out. And so shout out to the homie for this. Today is Wednesday, so I spent, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, pretty much, since Friday, checking it out, going back and forth, listening to certain things over and over again. And I've come to a couple realizations, right? So the first realization is, so if you know the history me and the homie have, this here is my third review of one of his albums. First album wasn't very kind or polite of me, very honest, but I was being me, but said some things, had to go back and correct some things. Then on the second album, I was a little nicer, had a better understanding of who he is, his mission, his whole plan. Didn't agree with his plan, but I understood things a little bit better than what I did in the first go round. Now I'm on the third go round, and I've come to the realization of something, right? So, and it's funny because my wife was like, "How do you even like hip hop?" And this is why she asked that question jokingly, but there's some truth to that question. I'm autistic, right? And so it's nothing new for me to, in my head, hear something and then wrestle with the idea of that's not possible type ordeal, right? And so I don't necessarily verbalize my wrestle, but a lot of times it's more internal. And especially when it comes to hip hop, right? I'm a fanatic of hip hop, right? I love hip hop, and so hip hop is a very storyteller type of genre, very make believe. And I think as Jadakiss said, 99% of rappers lie 99% of the time. It's 99% of the time in their rhymes. And so, you would think that me having that knowledge, that understanding, I would have been, okay with everything that false doctrine was coming with. Just understand that it's just hip hop. You know what I'm saying? He's not necessarily talk about killing folks and whatnot. He's just portraying hip hop. You know what I'm saying? How he sees it and voicing his beef with these individuals. Right. All right. And so for me, it was hard to grasp my mind around that, and I wrestle with that when it comes to Christian hip hop, because I feel like this genre we have is truth. You know what I'm saying? Like when we say what we're saying because we represent truth. We represent Christ, who is truth. And so when we are talking to individuals who don't know truth, I just feel like we should always present truth to them. Now, of course, we're not perfect, but I feel like the music should be truth. So when we say Jesus is God, we're saying it because it's truthful, not just something to say because it rhymes nice or whatever, right? So that's where my thought process was when hearing him in general was like, dag, homie, you representing Christ and you're lying about, shooting cats, whatever. Granted, like I said, it's hip hop, but not the first time, but one of the first times I verbally spoke of what was happening internally in my mind, like my displeasement with basically him just straight lying, right, about shooting cats, whatever. So that's where in this album here, I had to kind of step back from that. Just Carlos, chill. He's really not going to do that. So don't take it personal when he says he's going to do that, right? So I did a lot of that on this album here, and that's the first. And the second thing is, I had to realize I have to view this album like I review a Lecrae album. Okay, like get over the fact, Los, that Lecrae is not going to be Rebel Lecrae. This, after the music stops, Lecrae, You know what I'm saying? That's done. That Lecrae is gone. And so don't listen to Lecrae expecting, or anybody at this point, really from 116, expecting to hear, you know what I'm saying, their earlier stuff. Listen to it for just the enjoyment of hip hop and, you know, get what you can get from it, right? And so when going into this album here, I had to realize that 99.6% of this song I'm going to hear is going to be what I've already heard, right? I say this, not disrespectfully, but just being truthful. This album is a broken record of the first two albums or singles anything you've ever heard from Falls Up the Killer. It's the same thing. It is, you know, this false teacher, you put your name in the hat, pull it out, hey, it's you. And you're going to kill me. He's going to kill you. He's going to kill you in a very creative way, just to be straight with you. It's going to be a very creative killing. You're going to die in a spectacular form. But nevertheless, though, you know what I'm saying, you're a goner, right? So it's like understanding that that's what's going to happen on this album, right? And I had to really grasp that concept that, and I don't mean it this, and I'm not going to say it then, but yeah, that's what you're going to get. And so that's really my review of this album. As funny as it sounds, like I said before, and it's funny because he on was a Wrath to Come, the little skit towards the end, I think track maybe 6 or 7, he chopped up a little bit of my first review of his album, and he played it, you know, and you hear me say on there, you know, my disgust of the album, but also my bigging up of him in the production. And the same thing on this album here, you know, although I'm not displeased, I just don't like, you know what I'm saying, the topics. Man, I'm a fan of him lyrically, and I'm a very lyrical kind of guy. I love creativity. I love when cats are able to tell a story and I can visualize and see it. I love that, and that's what I love about his style so much. So as much as I don't enjoy what he's talking about doing, I have no choice but to enjoy the way he's talking about doing. As hypocritical as that there may sound, that's just the truth. I don't enjoy what he wants to do to Creflo, for instance, or TD Jakes or whoever, whatever. But man, I can't front. When he says he's going to do this, I'm like, I want to see that. Just to be honest, man. And the production on this album is top notch. The first song is Dead Man Talking? Is that Dead Man Talking? I think it's Dead Man Talking. Man, bro, I don't know who your producer is, but yo, when you see that man, give that man a high five, bro. I felt like, I don't know why, I felt like the Apologist did that one. I could be 100% wrong on that, but I was very much impressed with the production of this album, just as I've been on all 3 albums. Whoever your producer is, man, you do a great job, bro, of picking your beats. Can't say that about a lot of cats in hip hop in general. A lot of rappers can't pick good beats. You know, a lot of rappers are just terrible at picking beats. But you and your producer, man, y'all seem to, you give the impression that you guys sit down together and you know, work things out. Like, although it's like you would be the producer on the album, he's the co-producer. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're telling him, yo, hit this button here, put this here, put that there, and y'all together are compiling what we're hearing. And hats off, man. Beautiful. Man, it's beautiful. There's one. If I had any complaint production-wise on this album, on the tail end of the song, "Silence of the Lamb." By the way, hats off. But if I had any complaint about "Silence of the Lamb," was at the very end. There's these ladies singing. There's like a sample of these ladies singing. I was hoping and praying y'all was gonna do something with that, man. Like, put that into the beat. Like, I feel like that was a missed opportunity. If y'all could have chopped that up into a bass line and a production behind it, my goodness, that would have been dope. Whew. Boy, that would have. You have no idea how excited I was when it came on. I'm like, oh, they about to kill it. And then you let me down. And I was very disappointed. I was mad at you about that. That deserved. That deserved its own killing, for very lack of better words. But yeah, man, like this is like the song Level 3 towards the end of the album. I think it's probably my favorite, as far as like production and lyricalness. Very lyrical dude, man. Very, very creative cat. And this is what I was gonna say earlier, but I don't mean it this way, but I'm gonna say it now. He comes across like a one-trick pony, right? And I don't think that's true. I don't believe you to be a one-trick pony, but yet every album is kind of proving you to be a one-trick pony. It's like, you know what you're going to get. You know what I'm saying? And you know who he's going to talk about, and you know how he's going to talk about him, you know what he's going to do to him. You can almost guess the weapon he's going to use. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing that I think I said this last album too, and I want to challenge you to do more like storytelling. I think, this is me personally, without knowing you, we have one or two conversations, but I think you are a lyrical, I use this very loosely, and I can't think the last time I said this about somebody. So I'm going to say it this time. And if you tell me about I said it, I'm going to deny it. But nah, I think you're a lyrical genius. I think lyrically, you know what I'm saying, you're just a very creative kind of guy. A very, and the beautiful sense of how you pick your production, I believe you pick your word placements beautifully as well. And I think God has blessed you with the ability and the talent to paint a picture that mentally will destroy us. Like, kind of like as you're driving down the road, a highway, whatnot, and you're listening to something, and the picture is so vivid that you forget you're driving. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure you've heard songs like that before, where you're just like, I can see it. Like, I can see the car in front of me. I can see what this MC is saying. And I just want to challenge you, bro. Like, your next 1 or 2 albums, man, or mixtapes, whatever you drop, maybe just a single, whatever. But I'm not trying to tell you get away from what you're doing, but get away from what you're doing and venture out into storytelling. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, even if you want to flip it out and give us, you know what I'm saying, top to bottom of how you're going to kill Creflo. Sounds weird, but you know what I'm saying? But like, give us that. Like, tell a story of how you wake up that morning, you're preparing, you know, your dinner, your breakfast, or whatever, and you got your guns laid out, you know what I'm saying? And you kiss your kids goodbye, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just give us a story of that day. No choruses, just a straight story of your mission for the day. Or go through the scriptures and find a scripture in the Bible, a story in the Bible, and tell us that story. Just show us your versatility lyrically. I think you got it, bro. I think you can do it. And you ain't gotta prove nothing to me. You know, I ain't nobody, but it just, to me, it would show you're not a one-trick pony. Like, not that you're not just, you know what I'm saying, you're not like the next album come out. So if it's the Wrath to Come Part 3, track 1, let's kill all the preachers, and you know what I'm saying, track 2, this is what they did to you, and track 3, and you know what I'm saying, I got this 9 at this preacher's head, and you know what I'm saying, like, come on, bro. Like, I get it, we get it at this point, you know what I'm saying, we get it, you know what I'm saying, and I understand your beef towards him. I didn't really get it before until we had our convo, but you know, I understand your beef towards him, and rightfully so, you know what I'm saying, just to be straight. But I just feel like, bro, lyrically, sonically, you could do better and give us better. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny. So I believe that's Shaolin on. Sounded funny. Sorry, I believe that's Shaolin on the front, the intro, and he's talking about, you know, taking some time. I think the whole weekend or whatever, listen to the false preachers and basically trying to hear where they're coming from, kind of ordeal. And when he describes their motives and how they go about doing what they're doing, you know, it's funny. I sat there listening to that, and I immediately almost turned it off because it brought back up a very raw emotion towards me. If you know me, right, financially, I'm just, you know, terrible. I'm in so much debt, it's ridiculous. The Lord is still gracious, don't get it twisted, but so much debt is ridiculous. And a lot of it, honestly, stems from a decision I made in 2008 that still haunts me to this day financially. Very, 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 very long story short, I received a settlement of a little bit over 50,000, like close to 60 something, 65,000, like that. I say 50,000 because 50,000 was the first check. It was the big check given to me. But over a year's time, they gave me, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of bread, and it kind of equates to about 65,000. I got that money, and I'm like, praise God, I got this money. I am very charismatic at the moment, but the Lord is doing a work, and so I'm becoming reformed. I'm in the process of, you know, quote unquote crossing over, but I'm very charismatic at this moment. And I get the money, and you know, I bought a few things, but I never balled out. I'm still shopping at Walmart, you know what I'm saying? Going to little clearance racks, whatever. I'm staying with my brother, you know, whatever. But I meet this cat, he's a quote unquote prophet. And my man told him, you know, all about me. And brought up the bread. And old dude was like, God told me you're supposed to give me $5,000. I'm like, nah, God ain't told you that. But it's like he realized that hustle there didn't work, and ended up saying what the Lord said, you're supposed to travel with me, and I'm supposed to teach you how to be a prophet. And my dumb naive butt said okie dokie. I lived in Columbus, Georgia at the time. He lived in Valdosta, Georgia. And I drove every weekend, every Friday, every Thursday, go pick him up, 3-hour drive that way, pick him up. And we would travel from as far as west as someplace in Bama, as far as north as Tip Top of North Carolina, as far as south is Orlando, Florida. Every weekend from April of 2008 till August 2008, we traveled, going to different churches. And he's quote unquote prophesying. All right. So we would get to these churches, and we wouldn't be invited, right? We weren't invited to these churches. We would just go. And we hear there's a revival, so we're going. And we would get there, and we would walk in, just him and I, we walk in such an order, such a way that had people just like, wow, who was that? Who are they? And so we're in there, and he would give word to the pastor of who he is. And he's not asked for any money. He just asked him just to speak. You know what I'm saying? Let me talk to your people. And he would get up and he would go talk to him and prophesy to him is what I call it. And basically they would just be so encouraged to give, and they would just give huge offerings, right? And so then after that little session that was over, we would go into the back where the pastor was, and we would split what came in half. Every day, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we was getting between $1,500 and $2,000 every day. No lie, no exaggeration. I didn't get none of it, but he got it. But I'm paying for the gas, I'm paying for the hotels, I'm paying for all the food, everything. Long story short, it's now August, and I'll go from 50-something thousand to like 3,000. And I call him and I tell him, hey man, I've never asked you for a penny, but I'm almost broke. Can you give me some? He said, hey, I was gonna call you anyways. The Lord told me to tell you that your time for following me is over. I've taught you all that I can taught you. May God bless you. Yeah, serious. And I think we talked maybe twice after that. But I ended up being homeless, credit bad, and had student loans I was supposed to pay with that money. So that haunted me. Got evicted. I'm talking like I pull up to the house and all my new furniture that I just bought with my money is outside. So this suede couch, the whole nine, TV destroyed because it's raining. It was wild, man. And the beautiful part is I lived in my car for like a few weeks, few months, and the Lord met me there, and I believe I got saved for the first time at that moment. But I say all that to say, sorry for the long story, but I say all that to say is I understand your gripe with the whole, name it, claim it operation, but I don't think we should try to kill him. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I ain't gonna lie and say I ain't never thought about finding a homie and running up on him. But, I also realized that was my own foolishness and not necessarily him. Yeah, sure, he was smooth with the words and he tricked me. Yep, got you. But my own foolishness brought me, had me go down that route. You know what I'm saying? And so, anyways, enough of all that. I've taken too much time as it is. Anyways, overall, I still stand where I stand. I can't support this album, although lyrically, I can't support it in the sense where I'm telling Casio go cop that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna support it by listening to it because it's dope. But you know what I'm saying? I can't respectfully be on some go cop this album and support the homie. Woo. I'm just not a fan of the killing. I'm just not a fan of the killing people type of joint. You know what I'm saying? But what I will say, dude is a lyrical beast. He's a lyrical mastermind, and the production is dope, and it's put together very, very well, and it's a beautiful marriage lyrically and production wise. I just can't front about that. But I do challenge you, homie. I definitely challenge you to, you know what I'm saying, give it a shot, man. Try something different. But yeah. feel I've rambled enough. I pray that my point was made. Yeah, y'all be easy.